Hi everyone, my name is Ryan. I'm one of the events hosts here at McNally Jackson. Thank you so much for attending this wonderful event. It makes me feel so happy that these poets are here and that so many people want to hear poetry. I'm going to leave it at that before I tear up. Before we begin, there's going to be a few housekeeping things. If you got a voucher and you didn't, you can only use that today, and you can use it anywhere in the store. So at the bar, at the stationery section, you can buy the authors a drink, you can buy the authors a book, you can buy the authors some stationery and tell them to write the next book. But be sure to use it today. And there might be time for a quick Q&A, and if we do have some mic issues, just bear with it. It's a little staticky, but we're here for it. And that should be good to go. Without further ado, I'm going to be introducing poets one by one. So the first poet tonight is Alex Dimitrov. Also, let's please clap, let's snap, let's clap, let's snap. This is incredibly haunted building, so like stomping and clapping wards off the ghosts. So Alex Dimitrov is the author of 3 books of poetry, including Love and Other Poems, Together and by Ourselves, Begging for It, and the chapbook American Boys. His poems have been published in The New Yorker, The New York Times, Paris Review, and Poetry. With Dorothea Lasky, he co-founded Astro Poets and is the co-author of Astro Poets, Your Guides, the Zodiac. He teaches at NYU and creates and writes the endless poem Love on Twitter, 1 tweet a day. So give it up for Alex.
You can definitely buy me a drink. I'm very sober. I haven't drank for a day and a half, so it's getting stressful, you know. I'm gonna read off my phone. Is this on? Yeah, it's good?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming. I can't believe you're here because it's raining and I wouldn't be here. I'm just kidding. When I said yes to this reading, I had a boyfriend. Now I don't. This is a really funny story. I actually met him here 2 years ago when I did an event with Richie Hoffman. I saw him here. So they're love poems, but they're like breakup poems, I guess, that I'm gonna read. Not the ones you've seen. But this first one's actually about rain. I didn't know it would rain. On the car over here, this lovely woman named Deborah actually was like, "You don't have an umbrella." So I texted my friend, I was like, "Can you please bring an umbrella?" Never bring an umbrella, as you'll see in this poem. It's called 100%. And it's newish. After years of being in love with the wrong people, I'm still open like the Paris Theater on 58th Street. I walk up and down 6th Avenue thinking of who I was 6 years ago. The waiters at the Odeon wink at me. A woman in a gold dress drinks alone, and men in suits talk of the market, which is up like my libido. Hello, God. What now? Will I ever learn how to cook and not use my oven for sweaters? Will I stop expecting the French to love me? Will I carry an umbrella on days when it says 100% rain? What is 100% rain exactly? How could anyone be that certain? Not even love feels that way, and again I'm the person telling strangers more than I should, the person nodding yes instead of no, the person who wouldn't return to the past, even if I had an umbrella. Why bother? 100% it's not as good as whatever this is. Also, these poems are for the single people in the crowd. Where are you? Okay, I love you the most. Fuck the rest of you, I'm just kidding. Everything always. Oh, do I want to? Okay, fine, I'll read this one. Okay. A man dangles a cigarette over a fire escape on Crosby. It's so early, I am still in last night. All of life honks, the streets steam, gin changes to coffee, and I think of you less than I think of you often. How strange to be a person instead of a tree. I'll miss it, I'm in it. I watch a bucket of peonies glint in the sun. The wind moves through the avenue. A woman loses her hat. I lost something back there, but what use is turning around? Goodbye to the past. I buy leather pants. I call my mother. Someone has written everything always over the pavement, and I nod because I get it. Isn't it time I moved to Greece? Today I only have time to walk to the water. I do that. I love it. Who wants to go home anyway? Who wants to be what they are? Sort of my anti-identity poem. Who wants to be what they are? Do you know any people like that? I certainly don't. I would be someone else in a second, by the way. Probably someone really rich on the Upper West. Single though, still single. We have so much fun. This poem's about a party. Someone said to me, all your poems are about parties. I wish. I wish I was always at a party. In fact, I'm very anxious when I'm not in front of people. This is me not anxious. One-on-one, I'm even more anxious. So unless there's an audience, I kind of don't feel real. So thank you for being here. Another party. An orange streak in the sky. Before I go in, I smoke with the roses on Fifth. They're drenched from the rain and perfectly dressed. The party is beautiful. The windows are French. The windows are open, though it's not time to jump out of them yet. I would gladly take another life with less ice in my drink, which I bring to the boys' room and text people I shouldn't because I'm a mess. I'm emotional. It's the truth, I think, listening to gossip swimming around while I fix my hair and decide what to do with the rest of my life here on Earth. It's good to be talked about. It's serious not to die. And when I come out, even the blonde painter I never liked nods at me. We're all going to the same afterlife together. A place that doesn't seem to have any clocks, though it's exactly 10:37, and even you, who are so far away and may never be closer, somehow cross the edge of the room or my mind. You guys know that poem, Having a Coke with You? Yes. I think one of those Instagram accounts said it was the best love poem ever written, but this is actually the best. It's kind of a love poem to myself. So if you're in need of self-love, come up to me after. Actually, if you're hot too. Is there some hotties in the crowd? You all look pretty good. I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. Okay, that's pretty high actually. If you're a 10 out of 10 though, come on. I'm fucking with you. Having a Diet Coke with you. I got in so much trouble on the internet for this poem, by the way. So much trouble. People were like, he hates food. So what? Having a Diet Coke with you is even better than a regular Coke because in New York the streets are so skinny. I'm always worried about my hair walking down Lex in the morning or if we'll ever get universal health care, and I can be assured I'm dying in all the regular ways. Nothing unusual. By a professional who touches me lightly on the chest, the first time I've been touched in months, so I consider falling in love after. I fall in love with every doctor that touches me. Oh God, Alex, what is wrong with you? I can't believe this is the title of your poem. If you look up, the billboards are sexy and American, letting you forget all the cruel things you've said to your boyfriends. There are other things I need you to remember. Please stop taking cabs so you won't have to take out a loan or become a lawyer. And please stop having sex with men who are terrified of looking at your face when you cry. One day your choices will be limited and you'll wear the same outfit forever into the beyond, into the gold sea. I'm going to bury you in a white suit, infinitely delicate and infinitely expensive, as Plath wrote, as you are, as you've been even on bad days. This is the love poem no one gave you, and thank God, they couldn't do it like this. Not only will we drink Diet Coke in this poem, I'm also taking a Barney so you can flirt with the tall boy selling sneakers and talking very slowly about his gentle sword tattoo. People of the world, don't stop. Don't give up style, irony, or Manhattans. Don't apologize for wanting to fuck someone new because you need to feel alive. I get it. I've been there. I'm imagining you reading this with a phone in your hand, in your room, by a desk, on a train, or a platform. Don't wait to do what you want. This is what I've wanted to say from the first line. Don't wait, because people don't have the answer. I've written this ending before in a book called American Boys, but I'll write it again for anyone who wasn't paying attention or talking shit about me on the internet. I'll never get over the fact that the buildings all light up at night, and the night comes every night, and without regret we let it go. We sleep a little, and we live. That's what we do. Seems like people are always talking shit about me on the internet. You guys, I wanted to read the Paris, France poem, but how could I now? How could I? My God, I almost took that poem out of the book. My editor was like, it's great, it's great. It's like, yeah, you weren't on the receiving end of that. because you know I'm in charge of the news cycle. Is this the last one? There's like, okay. No, it's not. This poem is called Alex, It Was Really Nothing. It's about, well, it's not about anything, but I sort of began writing it when I was on the way to Bacro, which is like one of my favorite restaurants downtown. I flirt with everyone there. Everyone loves me. They're like my second family. It sucks they can't be here because they're probably working. I'll probably end up there anyway. Alec is the bartender, and he's like 24 and very sexy. So, I'm 27, by the way. Alex, it was really nothing. I was just about to throw on a shirt and take the queue to Canal and walk to Bacro and have 5 glasses of wine, and then I felt guilty. I hadn't written much of anything, so I said, okay, you have 20 minutes to write a poem, and here I am, 18 minutes left, writing a poem about writing a poem. Okay, so I'm done being obsessed with men who don't know I'm a genius. Bye, baby. Bye, big mouth. Bye, small dick. I won't even say the last one's name because he already thinks he's in my poems, and it's the closest he'll ever get to love. But hold on. This is turning into a really cruel poem. Let's rewind, let's have a drink, let's actually order the squidding pasta when we get to Bacro and take 2 bites, then go out for a cigarette around the corner, so the guys at Clando who spilled out onto the street can look at me and pretend they're not cruising, and pretend they're not gay, and I'll pretend I care about the bad novels they're writing, or how everything is political. Someone has to say this mid-conversation, and I have to go out for another cigarette, because I'm thinking I should go to 169 bar at this point, but don't. I go to Vuong's with Will and David, and a beautiful Scorpio who looks like Joni Mitchell, who is a Scorpio, obviously. And the way I see it, with 13 minutes left, I have nothing to prove and nothing to teach you, and this poem is not going to solve any crisis or pretend it knows anything about anything. And the way I imagine it is, someone puts on the Smiths at Vuong's, which has actually never happened, but this is a poem, and I can do what I want, since truth has nothing to do with art, and art has everything to do with truth. And you're probably wondering what's Smith's song and why is Smith's song, and when is this poem going to be over? 2 minutes now. I lost a little time trying to gain a little speed, and it's William, It Was Really Nothing. That's the song. It's not great for the cadence of the poem, but it's one Smith song I want to hear at a bar, and never will, because it's too sad, and too short, and too beautiful. And not everything beautiful gets what it deserves, okay? Life is pain. I think we all know that. It's fine, whatever. Play the next fucking song. Right? So tired of people feeling sorry for themselves on the internet, aren't you? And this time I'm going to do something interesting. Wednesday. This poem is called Wednesday. It was written on a Wednesday. I was going to the mat, and then I got to the mat, and the mat was closed. How about that? No one told me that the mat's closed on a Wednesday. It seems really arbitrary. They've planted the loudest yellow tulips on 5th. A cab almost hits me as I stand there looking at them. I am possessed. I'm not dead. People are out on the steps of the mat, though it's closed. A man playing saxophone. 2 boys in Supreme. A Dalmatian. A bulldog. They look even more taken care of than me. Yeah, well, I'm not surprised. I'm kind of a brute. Now a guy with a speaker on his bike plays Juicy and the traffic picks up. Yes, it's Wednesday. Yes, we're in the middle of life. Or at least the week. It's too easy to be sad. Everything is alive, but everything is still beautiful. These strangers showing up for their meetings and dates, dog walks and errands. I've forgotten Van Gogh's self-portrait with a straw hat is right here, but that's not why I came. I don't really have a reason. I just love this running around, even though I'm not free. Even if I'm not free. Yeah. I'm not free. I don't feel free. Do you feel free? I want to get more free, is what I'm trying to say. These poems are trying to do that, but I'll feel freer after like a substance or 2. Leave that to your imagination. You guys are looking at me like I'm fucking insane. Give me something, come on. Thank you. I didn't mean that. I don't need applause, it's fine. But keep going, keep going. This poem's called Friday. You can tell I'm so original. I have this series in the last book that was like the month poems, and then I did the week poems in this next book, and now that I'm writing the other book and ignoring writing my novel, I'm doing like the hours of the day. I swear everyone's gonna be like, he just loves time. I'm just terrified to die like everybody else. Friday. I'm too bored to fuck, I tell my hookup, so he leaves, and here I am, alone again, inside the morning in my bed, where I text the West Coast things they won't read for hours because they're always in the past. Wake up, it's Friday, there's a war, and also a great sale on denim. But now that skinny jeans are out, my mood has fallen, like the markets. I have nothing to wear, and nothing to live for. Once more, I'm here writing this so I won't get drunk at 4 p.m. No, never, I say to the doctor when he asks me if I'm sad. Depressed? Despondent? No, I tell him. And plus, your new haircut really makes you look like Keanu. He blinks. He doesn't get it. I'm mortified. I leave. I get a drink. It's 4:52. What did I do all afternoon? In another life, I'll have self-control or actually be happy. Has anyone ever had both? Has bombing other countries ever worked? I don't think so. I'm anti-war and anti-feeling sorry for yourself in poems. Maybe my doctor just didn't like The Matrix. Maybe I should adopt a dog so I don't have to get a boyfriend. They're very similar. Maybe, even though skinny jeans are over, when they bury me, and I do hope it's on a Friday so people can get their shit together on the weekend, maybe, just maybe, I'll be allowed to dress however I want, and eat whatever I like, and drink whenever I please, and my hair will look perfect forever. Because that's what death is, right? That's where we're all going, and that's why we're all drinking and fighting and acting so vicious. What's wrong with us, really? What are we doing here? I'm convinced we all just need to get laid. Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be with Deborah and Ocean, one of my colleagues, and it's just like a pleasure to actually be out on a Tuesday night. Not that I wouldn't be, but just like here. This is the last poem I'll read. It's the title poem of my next book. It's called Ecstasy. It's a little bit of a different cadence, so I sort of left it at the end. There's nothing to say. It was supposed to be a happy book, but then it turned out to be a sad book. Ecstasy is brief, right? Ecstasy is pretty brief. Didn't really remember that when I titled it. At the end of Ecstasy, only the memory of ecstasy. The tongue, the chorus, the streets of flesh. Blur of the highways, blue of the lakes. Jesus' mother. Jesus, our city of New York. A pill, $1, 100. Your father's face. The bridges at night. The heart outside the heart, and the vacancy signs with the no right above. How long till we get there? How long is the night? How fast will misery make us its keeper when the memory of ecstasy wanes? Like the summer that's over, like the green lights that pass. Fireworks, funerals, weddings. The freedom you looked for in people. The freedom you lost when you did. And after the lawns of childhood, and after the graves ahead. After whatever ecstasy is, and the feeling of knowledge, past pleasure, past whatever gets you off next. Thank you.
That was ecstasy. That was amazing. I'm so, thank you. And I forgot to mention that these poems loosely around love are about loosely around love. This night is loosely around love because love is in the air. And thank you to the NYU Creative Writing Program for working with us on this. So, but speaking of the NYU Creative Writing Program, but not just the NYU Creative Writing Program, Deborah Landau is the author of 5 collections of poetry, most recently Skeletons, which was named one of the New Yorker's best books of 2023. Her honors include the Believer Book Award and the Guggenheim Award. Her work has appeared in The New Yorker, The Paris Review, The Atlantic, New York Review of Books, The Nation, Poetry, CNN, The New York Times, and 3 volumes of the best American poetry. She is a professor at NYU, where she directs the creative writing program. And give it up for Deborah.
Hello. Speaking of love and poems, every time I hear Alex read, I remember why I love poetry, which, you don't always remember that at a reading. Go to a lot of readings. It's truly a pleasure to read with Ocean and Alex, who are among my favorite poets, people, colleagues, and to see all of you here. So thanks for being here. Hi, Peter. I've been thinking very capaciously about love poems because there's so many different kinds of love, right? Obviously romantic love, obviously erotic love, but also friendship, the love between friends, and a love more expansively of this world. So I'm going to read, a bunch of poems under the general love umbrella, and mostly for my new book, but one from an old book, my second book, just to get us started, given the topic. All else fails. I'd rather watch you doing it than do it myself. I'd rather hear about it. I want to be told. I'd rather read about it. I'd rather just sit here. Hold the mask over my face while you do it to me. I'll put on some music. Now, see how we grow aglow. So young and beautiful. Our capillary is all lit up. I've been thinking a lot about, well, Wallace Stevens said it must give pleasure, but like it rarely does, right? Of poetry. Flesh. It must give pleasure, but it rarely does. But pleasure is so useful when it comes. Pleasure says, this is your sort of place, your year. You live here. Pleasure is the perfect swerve. It wins you back. Pain won't take you nowhere. Chocolate on the tongue, vodka, velvet, voila. A zipper slinking in its silver, its long slide down. This book, it's called Skeletons, and it's a sequence of poems called Skeleton that are acrostics. They say skeleton down the left-hand side, but I'm not going to read many of those because this is supposed to be poems about love, not death. But I'm reading one skeleton because it's got Alex in it. He likes to be talked about. Skeleton. Sugar withdrawal symptoms turn out to be what exactly? Keto flu, depression, killer headaches and cravings. Endorphins, how I long for you. Longing, that's a sugar. And love is. Morning sun too, especially through open windows, and earth is a sugar while it still greens around us. What else sweetens? Not the internet, not tweets, except Alex's poems in tweets clothing. Definitely not one, a tweet from the president. Yet, iced with the season's first narcissus blooms this day, and somehow it's still a thrill to wake, warm-bodied alive. Flesh. I like watching you sliding into the banquette with a red wine, a warm glass, still animate. Only flesh is elevating, it clasps. A prick can be key, how it brings along exquisite, its red life animal press, dark between bones like the body's answer to the doozy of us, hurled forward, still talking, all spent, and always dizzying near with sour breath, time's metric. Shh. Flesh. Every bliss is built this way, a hollow thing, with many entrances, with blood pumping a live tongue and limber torso, a fine sweat rising in. We dirty ourselves up, we leave our print. The night sky, 'tis a lozenge that cuts through the larded mind. How I am inside, I can scarce encompass it. Eros sleeps with the windows open to uncoffin the room, the wind blowing across the bed, trees scarecrowing the sky. Congratulations, you scored a heat. It's safe to say we lived for this back then, in Berkeley, Ann Arbor, Gowanus. Eros travels everywhere in its morphine case. And again, our clothes are on the floor. Did you come? I'm hiding behind this language. What if I just went and said it, direct, face to face, unblushing? So these poems are for people who aren't, no. These poems are for people who aren't single. My husband shouldn't say these are love, said I shouldn't say these are love poems for my husband, but I just said it. Sorry. It's not so cool. Flesh. I thought a lot about your body, my body, what it is to lie in bed together and sleep. To the shores of silent dark and back we went each night, like that wasn't a mystery. Our physicality grew more hulking. More and more I had to squint at the mirror to recognize my face. Here's a poem about the romance of friendship. You know those friendships that you never, there's that energy there, but you never do anything about it? And also sort of a love poem for the city of New York. Flesh. You in your ecstasy of coffee, me all amped on juice, an ooze of sunshine, a foil of water, a concordance, two waves in sync, making a larger bright. It's unseasonably warm again, nothing will bloom. The trees blown way ahead of schedule, and we never kissed, not even once, despite the come-ons of summer scented with rain, lilacs in the deli tempting to send me over the edge, as if we could rinse everything and be clean again. But no. Thursday, 4 p.m. The city can be beautiful when it wants to, stands around all photogenic by the boat pond. Lucent doorway of the day beams us through, pine needles, puddles, tussle on the sidewalk, a pigeon or two. Streaming by, here come the minutes exposing themselves, and there they go. What is real? June keeps on flaunting its meadow of music, its drink. Let's leave our apartments and go to the park. It's a festival. We want a popsicle, some honeydew, a break. Let's go out into the music flowing broadly now through giant speakers. The success of friendship, let's drink to it. Hello, emptiness that is coming. It will engulf. And then, a freighted woman, I'll fall back into my hole. Goodbye. My body will never be satisfied. But here in the pre-headache seasonal glitter, first burst of summer, still the thrill of it, the heat. So I'm going to end with the long poem that ends my book. It's not that long. It's in 5 parts. It's called Ecstasies. Thanks for listening. And Ocean's next. Ecstasies. In the XYZs of nights and days we stayed, as if the conversation would go on forever. You, ample days of you. Your beard accumulating a bit of snow, the gradual showing of bone, a grizzled diminishment, the stacked up winters, each in its place. In this manner, the years spooled out the other side as if in plain view a field without you. Meanwhile, we took good care. The greens were organic, honey sweetened the pot. The membrane between us stayed transparent, and we took seriously our allegiance to dream. 2. Like most people, I'm sad at the source. What's my task then? Tisk throb begin. The very best time for the body is in a lighted doorway after a snowstorm in the bathtub with a dog standing by. The best time for the body is now, aspirational in the same space, the bed, where we treat ourselves. Here, come on, crawl in. It's quiet here in the room of our insomnia. The body in its simple existence, lips, thighs, feet. Birth and love and death, 3 songs. Cricks and creaks the skeleton, but shush, it's still alive with its hat of hair, its cloth of skin, its cloak and scaffolding, rickety ribs and spine. Look, these bones are made for us, and the room is mild, and the catastrophe, though nearer, is still not. Are we done with life? I'm still so into it. I like to drink and read and use my mouth, our bodies constellating in the smothering heat as the trucks slam by. The song of a siren has a sort of infinity in it, so too the poof of dove on the sill, drop cloth of sheets a-drench, the coming dusk, drizzle of sky, it's fading and spanning, days become decades, and then 4. Even coffins oblige. Who could stand to lie still for such a long time? What if I sneeze down there with everyone else above ground breathing? What if nothingness is a cold scrape and no more? Oh, toast and oranges, what are we waiting for? We're just born. We're on the brink. Let's ravel together while we still have limbs in this room made warm by our own resources. Our appetites don't know from times of hurry. We trample everything we touch, accumulate and decay in elegant machinery, often unsteady and only ever casually on our way. Wild and nervy beside the bed, I knelt like someone trapped in the air of the world. Hey you, you're a body, slow down. Bring on the filth and joy. Proceed as you will. Inhabit your skin like you're still here. Last one. Catch me alive, I am today, swept through the air in a flesh, thinky feeling, lugging itself up the subway stairs and now back on Spring Street again in the dazing light, pumping the marrow, a breeze of breath, of blood, and still the minutes accelerate, and we weighted with days. Will we waste them all? And then when we get there, we will think, I wasted them all. Stony before I was laid in stone, mourning before I was mourned. And what was this velvet for? Spring didn't know. Flags of the grave, well, also a jubilance, not just a falling. And off again toward whatever, drinking exalted or coughing, but still can swallow. And here all your parts are warm and mostly work. And look, it's luck, will not get a word from the underworld. The necklace of days, bracelets of hours, the flesh of blood, present swelling, the yes please of sex, the abject of. Is it precarious? Yes, exquisite, alive, staging the trance, the hand in hand, the mouth slashed with coffee, sugared and warm. You're silent reading this now. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you so much for reading. That was amazing. And the word of the night is ecstasy, so
Sure.
it is. But moving on to our final poet, Ocean Vuong. Ocean Vuong is the author of the New York Times best-selling novel On Earth We're Briefly Gorgeous, out from Penguin Press and forthcoming in 30 languages. Recipient of the 2019 MacArthur Genius Grant, he's also the author of the critically acclaimed poetry collections Time is a Mother, also from Penguin Press, and Night Sky Exit Wounds, a New York Times top 10 book of 2016, and winner of the T.S. Eliot Prize, the Whitting Award, the Tom Gunn Award, and the Forward Prize for Best First Collection, among other honors. Ocean joined the NYU Creative Writing Program as a tenured professor in fall 2022, and is a joy of a human being. So thank you. Give it up for Ocean.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me all right? Okay. I get louder as I get braver. I promise that will happen. It's been such a joy to be fans of Alex and Deborah's work for over a decade, and now for the first time getting to share the microphone with them, and also getting to share teaching at NYU with them, educating alongside them, but also being educated by them. So thank you guys. It's a lovely, lovely time to be alive. Thank you. I'll read a few poems, and then I'll very scarily read a new poem. See if I still got it. This one's titled American Legend. So I was driving with my old man. The day wasted save for the cobalt haze closing around us. We were on our way to kill our dog, Susan. I mean, we had to bring her to the clinic to put her down this murder. Or maybe they meant put her in the ground, though I knew Susan would be ashed in the incinerator out back. Puffs of smoke, little ghosts, poodles, where was I going with this? Right, the car, the rain, the legend of joy and pain, my old man and I, the Ford big enough for us to never touch, and maybe I meant to make the hairpin turn too hard. And the thing flipped like a new law going 80. Maybe I wanted at last to feel him against me, and it worked. as the colors spun through the windshield, wild metal clacking our shoulders, the sudden wetness warm everywhere. He slammed into me and we hugged for the first time in decades. It was perfect and wrong, like money on fire. The skin around his neck so soft, his aftershave somehow summer. It lasted not a second, but he was smiling, his teeth already half gone, as if someone wiped them away to make room for something truer. Put it down on the page, son, he said one night after telling me why he did what he did with his life, shit-faced on Hennessy. We were sitting at the kitchen table before his shift at the sock factory, his eyes raindrops in a nightmare. I touched him, then let go. The car stopped rolling. We hung upside down as things dripped, steam or breath. I did what any boy would do after getting exactly what he wanted. I kissed my father. He grinned, I think, his pupils elsewhere. I reached back, unlatched the cage. The dog stepped out, sniffed my old man, still warm, then ran into the trees, into her second future. I walked from the wreck until the yards became years, the dirt road a city, until my face became this face, and the rain washed the gasoline clean from my fingers. I found a payphone in the heart of the poem and called you collect to say all this, knowing it won't make a difference, only more. So hello, hi, the blood inside my hands is now inside the world. Words the prophets tell us destroy nothing they can't rebuild. I did it to hold my father, to free my dog. It's an old story, mother. Anyone can tell it. This one is called The Last Prom Queen in Antarctica, which is, on good days, how I feel. It's true, I'm all talk and a French tuck. But so what? Like the wind, I ride my own life. Neon light, electric in the wet part of roadkill on the street where I cut my teeth on the good sin. I want to take care of our planet because I need a beautiful coffin. It's true, I'm not a writer, but a faucet underwater. When the flood comes, I'll raise my hand so they know who to shoot. The sky flashes, the sea yearns, I myself am hell. Everyone's here. Sometimes I go to parties just to dangle my feet out of high windows among people. This boy crying in his car after his shift at McDonald's on Easter Sunday. The way he wipes his eyes with his shirt as the big trucks blare off the interstate. My favorite kind of darkness is the one inside us, I want to tell him. And I like the way your apron makes it look like you're ready for war. I, too, am ready for war. Given another chance, I'd pick the life where I play the piano in a room with no roof. Broken keys, Bach sonata like footsteps fast down the stairs as my father chases my mother through New England's endless leaves. Maybe I saw a boy in a black apron crying in a Nissan the size of a monster's coffin and knew I could never be straight. Maybe, like you, I was one of those people who loves the world most when I'm rock bottom in my fast car, going nowhere. Thank you. I'll read this long poem and then the new poem, and then thank you. It's called Not Even. My whole life I wanted to start a poem with the word hey. And my one regret is it took me 15 years to do it, but here we are. Better late than never. Hey, I used to be a fag, now I'm a checkbox. The pen tip jabbed in my back, I feel the mark of progress. I will not dance alone in the municipal graveyard at midnight, blasting sad songs on my phone for nothing. I promise you I was here. I felt things that made death so large it was indistinguishable from air, and I went on destroying inside it like wind in a storm. The way Lil Peep says, I'll be back in the morning, when you know how it ends. The way I kept dancing when the song was over because it freed me. The way the street light blinks twice before waking up for its night shift like we do. The way we look up and whisper, sorry, to each other, the boy and I, when there's teeth. When there's always teeth on purpose. When I threw myself into gravity and made it work, ha. I made it out by the skin of my griefs. I used to be a fag, now I'm lit, ha. Once at a party set on a rooftop in Brooklyn for an artsy vibe, a young woman said, sipping her drink, you're so lucky, you're gay, plus you get to write about war and stuff. I'm just white, pause, I got nothing. Laughter, glasses, clinking. She was from Sarah Lawrence. Just facts. Because everyone knows yellow pain, pressed into American letters, turns to gold. Our sorrow, Midas touched. Napalm with a rainbow afterglow. Unlike feelings, blood gets realer when you feel it. I'm trying to be real, but it costs so much. They say the earth spins and that's why we fall, but everyone knows it's the music. It's been proven difficult to dance to machine gun fire. Still, my people made a rhythm this way. Away, my people so still in the photographs as corpses. My failure was that I got used to it. I looked at us mangled under the time photographer's shadow and stopped thinking, get up, get up. I saw the graveyard steam in the pinkish dawn and knew the dead were still breathing. Ha. If they come for me, take me out. What if it's the crash? What if it wasn't the crash that made us, but the debris? What if it was meant this way, the mother, the lexicon, the line of cocaine on the Mohawk boy's collarbone in an East Village sublet in 2007? What's wrong with me, Doc? There must be a pill for this. Because the fairy tales were right. You'll need sorcery to make it out of here. Long ago, in another life, on an Amtrak through Iowa, I saw for a few blurred seconds a man standing in the middle of a field of winter grass, hands at his sides, back to me, all of him stopped there, save for his hair scraped by low wind. When the countryside resumed its wash of gray wheat, tractors, gutted barns, black sycamores in herdless pastures, I started to cry. I put my copy of Didion's The White Album down and folded a new dark around my head. The woman beside me stroked my back, saying in a Midwestern accent that wobbled with tenderness, go on, son, you get that out now. No shame in breaking open. You get that out and I'll fetch us some tea. Which made me lose it even more. She came back with Lipton in paper cups, her eyes nowhere blue and there. She was silent all the way to Missoula, where she got off and said, patting my knee, God is good. God is good. I can say it was gorgeous now, my harm, because it belonged to no one else. To be a dam for damage. My shittiness will not enter the world, I thought, and quickly became my own hero. Do you know how many hours I've wasted watching straight boys play video games? Enough. Time is a mother. Lest we forget, a morgue is also a community center. In my language, the one I recall now only by closing my eyes, the word for love is iu, and the word for weakness is iu. How you say what you mean changes what you say. Some call this prayer, I call it watch your mouth. Rose, I whispered, as they zipped my mother in her body bag. Get out of there. Your plants are dying. Enough is enough. Time is a motherfucker, I said to the gravestones. Alive, absurd. Body, doorway that you are. Be more than what I'll pass through. Stillness, that's what it was. The man in the field in the red sweater, he was so still he became somehow more true, like a knife wound in a landscape painting. Like him, I caved. I caved and decided it will be joy from now on. Then everything opened. The lights blazed around me into a white weather, and I was lifted, wet and bloody, out of my mother, into the world, screaming, and enough. Thank you, and this is the new poem. Thank you for coming. Have a good night. It's called Theology. Do you remember when I tried to be good? It was a bad time. So much was burning without a source. I'm sorry I was so young. I didn't mean it. It's just this thing is heavy. How could anyone hold all of it and not melt? I thought gravity was a law, which meant it could be broken. But it's more like a language. Once you're in it, you never get out. A fool, I climbed out the window just to look at the stars. It was too dark, and the crickets sounded like people I know saying something I don't. I think I had brothers. Think I heard them crying once, then laughing, until the laughing was just in my head. That's how it is here, leaky. One day, while crossing the creek, I met a boy, lips red as a scraped knee. When our eyes met, he gasped, then raised his rifle. That's how I found out I was a squirrel. That's how I lost my tail, the only thing I was great at. I don't know what my name is, but I can feel it. It's a throbbing in the blood. Last night I heard a voice and climbed to the tallest branch. So high, I forgot all the rules. It was like being skinned into purpose. Below me was a rectangle the man had been digging all night. I watched him a long time, his body a question mark unraveling. When the light grew pink, the man stopped. Others in black coats gathered around him. I know I was put here for a reason, but I spend most days just missing everybody. The man lowered a box into the slot he had dug, as if pushing a coin into a giant machine. That must be how they pay to be here. Strange. I didn't know monsters could be so sad.
you, Deborah. Thank you, Alex. We're going to conclude this night, but feel free to purchase any of the books downstairs, and tip your bartenders if you're getting a drink for Alex, and I will see you later. And there's going to be a signing for Deborah and Alex in the back area, so get the books first and then come up here for signing. Thank you.